Hi, this is Burns Hargis, President of Oklahoma State University, with another edition of Inside OSU. And we're here in the beautiful new Atherton Hotel with the First Cowgirl of Oklahoma State, Ann Hargis. And Ann, this place is really something now, isn't it?
Isn't it lovely? And it's so comfortable.
It is, and so well appointed, and now you have valet parking on the east side of campus. The rooms are much larger because it's gone from 80-something down to 60-something. This stateroom is fantastic. It is the spot to be in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
You know what else I love? The Atherton is used as a lab, so our students get practical experience.
Exactly, with our hotel and restaurant school.
For sure.
So and what a place to learn. This is fantastic. We're here to talk to the First Lady about being a First Lady. And as far as I know, I've never seen a manual on being a First Lady.
You know, I haven't either.
Well, maybe you could write one now that you know it. But why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about your background so they know what your training was for this job.
My training must have been being your wife, first and foremost. My professional life was spent in the computer industry as a systems engineer with IBM early on, and then I continued after we had children to work part-time and do supportive systems for computers along those lines. Yeah.
So describe what this First Lady has done. I mean, you've been at it almost 9 years now.
I have, and I learn more every single day. I will say my main goal, and I don't know whether you know it or not, but is to support you in all that you do. So I try not to get too sidetracked from what I do, and I hope that everything I do enhances your message. So therefore, I am very, very interested in wellness because I believe if you are the best you can be, you perform the best you can be.
And that's true. That's true. And you've had a number of wellness initiatives here on campus. But one of my favorites is the pet therapy, Pete's Pet Posse.
I'm so glad you like that because you got a dog out of the deal there too, didn't you?
Well, at the time I didn't think that was a big benefit, but now I like Scruff.
And now you understand.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, don't you often ask to take Scruff to the office?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
So how many dogs do we have in the pet therapy?
We're currently pushing 40. We have another class coming up with perhaps 10. We haven't exactly selected.
So these dogs are trained and certified?
The dogs and the owners. It takes training.
The owners were
owners.
yeah, they're trained.
They're some of the ones we worry about the most.
I still need a little training myself.
Yeah, so do I.
But what do the dogs do? I mean, with their owners, what?
Well, first of all, the dogs get a good canine good citizen training, which means they have the disposition and the temperament to work with others, and then they are nationally certified through a process. And so they go through hours and hours of training and practical experience.
But they're trained, what do they do?
They are trained to behave, basically, but therapy dogs are emotional support dogs. So they are well behaved. I'm not talking about your dog in particular, but they support others in need. So it may be a student who's homesick and just misses the dog at home. It may be another student who actually has emotional problems, who needs help getting through talking about those problems. And the dog is just a non-judgmental companion at that point.
And then in times of tragedy?
The dogs are ready. They're on campus. We have dogs on campus every single day. And so as tragedy has happened on this campus, which we would never have wanted or been prepared for, we do have dogs that are available to help with the counseling services available.
And these dogs they don't live in a kennel.
The dogs are personal dogs. Every dog lives in a home that is connected with OSU, an employee of some type.
But many come to campus with their owner in offices.
Part of the pet therapy program is the dog is on a leash attached to the dog's owner.
Well, what have you enjoyed the most as First Lady?
The students, Burns. I mean, how can you not say the students? I mean, they lift you up, they make you laugh, they're inspirational. I cannot believe how articulate and poised and self-confident
Well, I know that you're involved in a myriad of things on campus, and I know we're going to go around and we're going to see a lot of those things
Well,
here in this
good,
show.
good.
And I know that'll be exciting, but we're going to start over at the library, which I know you have a special passion for.
I do love the library. Now, can we go by the Orange Grove on the way?
Sure. Describe the Orange Grove?
Well, the Orange Grove, again, is another initiative started because of students who are now hammocking. It's kind of an in thing to do. And the students were hammocking, they would get a hammock for graduation or so, and have a hammock on campus. And we were noticing that some of our trees were suffering from the hammocks being on the trees. So our wonderful landscape, long-term director of landscaping,
Steve Dobbs,
sat down with the students and decided how we could help each other out. And they came up with this wonderful idea of an area that we can put your own private hammocks, but there's also one large hammock that is 16 hammocks sewn together in a circle.
What's the most kids you've ever seen in that?
I've seen, I think, up to 30. You can't count them. You can't count them. There's so many in them. But they're wonderful, wonderful adventures that students will come with their parents, and they'll all get in the hammock, which has a beautiful view of the library. That's why I thought maybe we'd pass it on the way.
Okay.
Going, yeah.
Well, good. Well, here we are at the Edmond Library at the Creative Studios, which is on the first floor. I'm, of course, with the First Cowgirl, as well as Shannon Guard. And Shannon, what in the world are you holding up there?
This is a 360 camera. It's a recent addition to the library's checkout pool of technology.
You can actually check that out?
You can check this out for 3 days.
Wow.
Just go to town. You don't have to do anything. You just press the one button to record, and it stitches 2 videos at the same time into a full 360 view. It's brilliant. And we've got a whole bunch of these available for checkout, along with a whole bunch of other tech to go.
And you got 3D printers.
Yeah.
Have students checked this out already?
Frequently, yes.
Frequently, okay.
This
This
is not your grandfather's library.
No, it's not.
It's a different.
Or our library, yeah.
It's a different deal. Well, that's fantastic. Well, what all's going on? Can you show us around some of the
we want to see our 3D
neat
printers?
stuff?
We do.
Sure.
All right, walk this way. This is one of the things we're printing.
Now, how long did it take to get that far?
Now that one I modeled took about a minute or 2 to model, but it does take a couple of hours to print.
Now they make these where you can actually cut metal. Not these, but I mean, it's
All of ours print in plastic because, well, it's the library. We're not quite a full-on fabrication lab yet.
Right.
So all of ours just print in plastic. But we've had people prototyping all sorts of things in here.
yeah. This is really intricate here.
Yeah, if you look closely at it, you can see just how much detail you can get with these things. It's
Now, Shannon, your services are free.
all of this is free. All that people have to do is pass a basic assessment showing they have just a cursory knowledge of 3D modeling, and then we walk them through the process of how each of our different machines work, because they're all different and they all function fundamentally the same.
But you have to start with you've got to do the model,
You
right?
start with the model. It's something really simple like a keychain or a tag.
And is this kind of melting this, and it's a quick, fast?
Very much
Pure.
so. Have you ever used a hot glue gun?
Yeah.
Same concept. You got a spool of material fed into here where it's heated up, and it's put out of a nozzle one layer at a time, building layer upon layer to create an object. I think one of our patrons, one of our students is printing a part, I'm not even sure what. We've got another stand here, and I think this is printing like a puzzle cube. It's hard to say.
But Shannon, you have the ability to work with the students. It's not that they come in with a ready-made project.
No, not at all. If anybody wants any sort of instruction, me or my staff will sit down and go through the basics with them, because it's not major specific. We've had all sorts in here. We've had architects, we've had engineers, we've had design, housing, and merchandising. We've had.
Is this? Do you design the model on the computer?
Yes.
And then it programs the printer
Yeah, absolutely.
to do what you
Isn't that
did.
slick, Burns?
I'm telling you.
Here's a finished model right here.
Oh, we
This
did-
is a mock-up.
I hate to tell you, but
of
we
what-
didn't even have printers when I was in school here.
Well, I think we paid 10 cents a copy or something.
Yeah,
I
but
can't remember.
I don't remember any
For
printers.
paper, just for paper. Yeah.
Okay, well, what else is
All right,
going
well,
on?
we also have a new audio upgrade that we put into our Windows and our Mac Creative Studios.
Oh, good.
So
Oh, good.
Now our patrons can come in and do audio recording. They can come in and do narration for video projects.
Really?
They can come in and lay down a soundtrack. They can record some songs. We've had people bringing instruments in, and yeah, I heard you're a player. Do you play? Would you?
Have you had Pocapella in here yet? Have
No,
they done?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
I was recording that, so I'll send it to you in an email if you like, or you can have that as a little file.
So groups will come in and record in here, and then they can take it back and work with it more.
Absolutely. Well, you see here, sorry, I'm exporting this. Put it on a flash drive. They can come in and they can use all of these different sound voices. They can use guitars, orchestra, audio, voices. And all of
Computerized
these,
everything.
Computerized everything. Yeah. The keyboard itself has multiple voices, and we can also record audio. You see it going there. We can do so many different things with this.
So do you kind of lease this room for a period of time?
You check it out like any other study room. You just book the time via the online library
How long can
website.
you stay in here?
Up to 5 hours.
Is that right?
Really? If no one
What if
else wants
somebody's
it?
waiting?
Well, we have to kind of beat them away sometimes, but everybody gets a turn, and nobody can ever book more than 2 reservations at a given time. So
If it's a band of 6 people, they can't each kind of take their 5 hours.
technically they could.
okay.
They could. It depends on how much they have to record. So, but yeah.
That is so slick. Who would dream that is in your library? You know?
Not me. It wasn't like this when I was going to school here.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for showing us up. This is just spectacular. It's fascinating.
It was a pleasure having you, and I loved your playing. That was great.
And you don't have, you're very tolerant of poor play.
Oh, thanks, Shannon.
But-
Yeah,
It's
thanks for
so
was
coming
great.
by.
Well, now we're here at ABLETech in the Atherton Wellness Center, and with us is Linda Jaco, who's the director of ABLETech. And I know, Ann, this is one of your favorites.
It is a hidden gem on this campus. I love to come over and see what's new. It accentuates America's healthiest campus and our approach to that, not only here in Stillwater, but across the entire state of Oklahoma.
Which is appropriate as a land-grant university. We're supposed to be serving our state. So Linda, basically sum up for us the mission of ABLETech.
Sure, be happy to. Pleasure to have you here. ABLETech is Oklahoma's Assistive Technology Act program. We've been housed here on campus for 20 plus years here at the Atherton Wellness Center. And the mission of the program is to be able to provide the citizens of Oklahoma with complete access to assistive technology, or AT. We do that for all ages, all disabilities across the entire state. You might wonder, what is assistive technology? Assistive technology is actually any item or piece of equipment that helps someone be independent and helps them to do something they otherwise wouldn't be able to do.
So give us a real-world example.
Sure, happy to. You see in this room all these examples that might help someone with vision, hearing, cognition, computer services, speech communication. Recently, we had a young student here on campus who was just beginning as a freshman and had an unfortunate injury while playing basketball and broke his leg. Obviously, it was going to be difficult for him to get to classes, and so he was able to borrow from us for a temporary period of time a power wheelchair while his leg was healing, which clearly let him get to and from campus and really fit in with his peers in a great way at the beginning of school.
That is great, but this seems like a mammoth task to be serving people all over Oklahoma.
We have incredibly well qualified staff, and we have also been able to leverage a number of contracts with the State Department of Ed, the Department of Rehabilitation Services, Medicaid, FEMA. So we're able to really customize our services and tailor them to different populations. We do that with different kinds of services, such as demonstrations of the assistive technology, so that people better understand what's available if they have a vision loss, a hearing loss, whatever. We also provide free loans of the assistive technology. We ship it to their classroom, to their homes, to various places.
What would some of these things be? I know what the wheelchair, the power wheelchair.
Right. Well, let's think about an iPad with certain apps on it for a student who's a struggling learner in a classroom. It helps them to organize their notes, or it helps them to perhaps download free books. Now they can study their books in a digital on their iPad if they are vision impaired. There could be a student who is struggling with hearing, so we have assistive listening devices that the teacher and the student use so that the student can hear better and take advantage of everything that's happening in the classroom.
How many clients would you have at a single time?
Last year, we ranked second in the nation for providing the number of loans and demonstrations across this entire state. And that's not per capita, that's just what we do because we're that busy.
It's huge.
We have an inventory of several thousand devices, so we keep very busy shipping these in and out across the state for free. We provide a postage paid label, so then when the individual is finished using the device, they just put the label right back on the box and ship it back to us.
And you have an inventory online, so
we do.
You can sort of experience some things online before you try them.
Absolutely.
Get to know.
Absolutely. All of the devices are online at ABLETech.okstate.edu. So people can literally fax in an order, call us on the phone. It's very easy to access all the devices and all the services that we do here.
And it's the only location in the state, so that is why you service the entire state.
Absolutely, yes.
Linda, do you have a device maybe you could demonstrate for our viewers?
Sure, I'd be happy to. One example that's easy for me to show is this CapTel phone. You might notice that there is content scrolling, and how that would be effective for an individual who is hard of hearing or deaf is that clearly they can't hear what is happening as well, so they would be able to read what the person on the other end of the phone is telling to them, so that then they can have a full conversation and be independent with phone conversation just as you or I would be able to.
Yeah, I've noticed on my phone, my mobile phone, that the voicemails are now also in text.
Yes, in fact, there's a real national trend or focus, if you will, toward making computers, iPhones, and different kinds of equipment fully accessible for all people. These things are typically created for individuals who have a disability, but in the end, the outcome or result is that it benefits all of us.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for introducing us to ABLETech, and I hope you or anybody you know that needs this kind of assistance will come to the Saratine Wellness Center, and I know Linda would welcome you with open arms and give you a new start. Well, now you've spent a day in the life of Ann Hargis, and you, I think, have seen how important and how fun that job is. If you ever get a chance to be a First Lady, you really ought to do it. So that's another edition of Inside OSU, and Ann and I bid you farewell, and go Pokes.